Sechas Nedarim Daf Mem Test begins the sixth part of the Masechta, which goes back to the subject of what words mean as far as Nedarim are concerned. We're going to get into, at first, cooking. When we say cooked food, there's 4 different ways to say cooked, and they each one include different things, and the Mishnah is going to be defining the principles behind how you understand words and what they include. The Gemara will discuss the meaning of the words in the Mishnah, and it'll also get into a wide-ranging list of Agadata topics loosely centered around the concept of food. Let's begin the Mishnah. The Mishnah says if somebody says that cooked food is forbidden to him by a neder, there is 4 different terms he may use for cooked, and they each include different levels of things. So if he says mavushal, so that means cooked things that are cooked normally, does not include something which is not cooked in water, so it does not include roasted foods, and it does not include things which are undercooked or overcooked. The term that's used in the Mishnah is shaluk. Machalokes rishonim if that means undercooked or overcooked. Either way, it only includes things which are cooked in water and cooked properly, or cooked in liquid at least, and cooked properly. Now, if he says tavshil is asur to me. So the Mishnah defines tavshil, and the Gemara explains that this is what the Mishnah means, as anything that is a loose enough mixture. You could eat it with bread. You can't eat something stiff or hard with bread, but you could eat something loose with bread. So any type of heat prepared food that is eaten with bread because it's loose is considered to be a tavshil. Specifically, it excludes thick foods, and it excludes 2 types, and it excludes eggs that are called termuta eggs, and we'll define it on a different daf, and squash that's called remuta squash. That'll also be defined on a different daf. So this is tavshil. Now, if somebody says ma'aseh, something made in the pot, that refers to a type of porridge or cereal, oatmeal, where you have heavily cooked or boiled grains. Grains could be sliced in different ways, but either way, it's an oatmeal type of consistency. Those things are called ma'aseh kedera. It's the only things included in that issur. If he says anything which goes into a pot, that includes anything that goes into a pot. So now the Gemara begins. The Gemara first goes to Brisa that shows that Rav Yishaya disagrees on the first halacha. The first halacha we had said was that things which are roasted or shaluk are not included in the term mavushal. Mishai disagrees. He says they are included. He says roasted is called cooked. Anything prepared with heat is called cooked. Even different types of things like baking or roasting, the term mavushal applies to those. And it brings a pasuk as a hint to that. It says it's not a proof, but it's in, like it says, ve'yavashlu as pasach ba'esh kemishpat. They cooked the carbon pesach in fire as a way it's supposed to do. Now the carbon Pesach has to be roasted. Obviously, therefore, the term mavushal refers to roasting as well. So the Gemara wants to say, what is the argument here between Rav Yishaya and our Mishnah? Our Mishnah says roasting is not included. Rav Yishaya says it is. So the Gemara wants to say, well, first suggestion is that Rav Yishaya holds that you go by the words of the Torah when you're defining the terms used in a neder, and our Mishnah says you don't go by the words of the Torah, you go by the words people say what they mean. And therefore, according to Rav Yishaya, the word mavushal is used to mean roasting in the Torah. According to our Tanakami, you can't use mavushal to mean roasting because people don't use roasting when they say that. So the Gemara says that can't possibly be correct. Everybody holds you follow the words of people. But the difference between them is that they lived in different places, and in one place the term roasting applies to mavushal, the term mavushal applies to roasting, and in the place of the Tana of our Mishnah, the term mavushal did not apply to roasting. So Gemara says that would be a nice pshat, but Rav Yishai wrote a pasuk. Gemara says no, he didn't really mean a pasuk. He didn't really mean to prove it from a pasuk. You can't prove what people mean when they say mavushal from a pasuk, but it's just a hint. Okay, the Gemara now moves on to the word tavshil. So the Gemara wants to know, why is the word tavshil permitted to have things which are thick? So Gemara quotes a Abaye that says tavshil means anything which is eaten in bread, and that's because it's loose. Gemara brings a brisa to support that. It says that someone who makes a neder against a tavshil is forbidden to have any type of tavshil, and he's not allowed to have tzli, shaluk, mavushal, any of those things. Those are all thin, loose, and runny. And a sick person eats them with his bread. Also, soft squash he eats with his bread. So Gemara says a sick person eats soft squash with his bread. You mean to say that soft squash is good for a sick person? It's not. We know we have a story with Rabbi Yirmiyah, and we know that that squash is not good for a sick person. The Gemara quotes the story. And this is a side step of our main topic here. Then when Rabbi got sick, a doctor came to treat him, and he saw that he had squash in the house, and he walked out and he said, the Malach HaMavos is in this house, how am I supposed to treat him? If he's got squash here, there's no way I can help him. Now, the Gemara answers this kasha in a few ways. The Gemara says either there's a difference between soft squash and hard squash. Hard squash is no good for a sick man. Soft squash is. Rabbi Bar Ula says there's a difference between the inside of the squash and the outside of the squash. Outside is a problem. The soft inside is okay. Rabbi Yehuda brings the support for that, brings the support for that from Rabbi Yehuda, who says the outer part of squash in beets, or the outer part of cotton in yogurt. Those are all things which are good to eat. Now, he also says, don't mention this to an Amaris, because then Amaris is going to eat up all these things. You're not going to have any left. Now, Rava gives the third answer, and he says, when we say sick people, we don't mean sick people. We mean Talmid Chachamim, who are weak because of the tremendous strain that they put themselves through when they learn. Rava goes according to his reasoning, which he said elsewhere. He said, why are we allowed to be mispala on people who are Kitsiri and Miri'i, two terms for sick people? And Koda Rabbi Yossi, who holds that you are allowed to be mispal at any time of the year, not just on Rosh Hashanah, even though the Gezerah is Rosh Hashanah, there is a time of Rachamim at any time of the year. Now, why did he say Kitziri and Miri are two terms for sick? One refers to someone who is really sick with an illness, and the other one refers to Talmid Chachamim, who are weak because of their learning. Gemara now refers to the part of the Mishnah where we had said that bread is not eaten with thick foods. Gemara says our Mishnah is obviously not like the Babylonian custom that they eat bread with thick porridge, with thick oatmeal. So Gemara calls them Babloi Tipshoi, foolish Babylonians. The oatmeal itself is like bread. They're eating bread with bread. It doesn't make any sense. And Chizah said he wanted to know how far the meaning really went, that they ate two things that are similar to each other. Did they eat the porridge of wheat with bread of wheat and the porridge of barley with bread of barley, or did they at least have some contrast there that they ate one min with the other min and not with the exact same min? And when it goes furthermore, it says that Rava ate roasted flour porridge. Rava by Rav Huna found Rav Huna that was eating the oatmeal with his fingers. He said, why are you eating with your fingers? He said, this is what Rav said, fingers are very good. The oatmeal is very good if it's eaten with a finger, certainly if it's eaten with two fingers, even better if it's eaten with three fingers. Rav Chia said, his son said, and so said Rav Huna to his son, that is, that Rav said to his son Chia, and Rav Huna said to his son Rabba, when they invite you to eat oatmeal, go until a parsa away to be able to eat it. When they invite you to eat meat, go as far as 3 parsa to be able to eat it. Now, Rav also said to his son Chia, and Rav Huna also said to his son Rabba, you should never spit. You can spit anything. You should not spit in front of your Rebbe because it's not respectful unless you have saliva that's caused by squash or by oatmeal. Those things are dangerous to swallow. You should spit them out. Even if you're in front of Shavor Malka, King Shapur, the Persian king, you should spit them out as well. Now, Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Yehuda were sitting and eating porridge together. One was using his fingers and one was using a piece of wood as a spoon. He was using the wood said to the one who's eating his fingers, how long are you going to feed us the dirt from under your fingers? And the other one said, how long are you going to feed us your spittle that you're sticking the spoon back in every time? Me, at least I wipe my fingers after every time I stick that in. Now, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon were sitting and they brought them blusfin figs. Those are overripe figs. Rabbi Yehuda ate them and Rabbi Shimon did not eat them. So he said to Rabbi Yehuda said to Rabbi Shimon, why are you not eating the figs? And he said, because these don't get digested, they never come out of the intestine. So he said even more we should eat them because we'll be able to be satisfied from them. We won't have to eat again even tomorrow because they'll keep providing nutrition for a long time. Gemara now goes into a lengthy discussion as to why Rabbi Yehuda's face shone. Gemara says Rabbi Yehuda was sitting in front of Rabbi Tarfon, and Rabbi Tarfon said, your face is very shiny. Why is it so shiny? And he didn't want to give the real reason, which is because of his chachma. So he said, yesterday I went out to the field and they gave us turnips or radishes to eat, and we ate them without salt. Had we eat them with salt, we'd be even shinier. There's a different incident where a Roman lady, said to Rabbi Yehuda, you're a Meriv Rabbi, you're more of a Meriv Ravi. You look like you're drunk. Ravli means drunk. Haki paskin halacha. If you're drunk, I can tell you're drunk because your face is shining. So he said, swear by that woman, meaning by her, I don't drink anything except for Kiddush, Havdalah, and Arba Kaisais, 4 cups of wine by the Seder. and because of that, I have to wrap my head from Pesach until Shavuos because of the headache that I get because of that. But the reason that my face is shining is because Chachmas Adam Ta'ir Mpanav, the wisdom of a person shines on his face. Not clear that Rabbi Huda said that to her. That's the Gemara's explanation. And the Gemara says it was a Tzeduki that came to Rabbi Huda and he said, "Your face is shining. It's like the shine of someone who either lends with interest or raises pigs, two very profitable industries to be in. That must be why you're shining." And Rabbi Huda said those are both usher for the Jews. We don't do either of those. The reason my face is shining is because from my house to the Beis Medrash there are 24 bathrooms, and every hour I go into every one of them, and therefore my face shines. Now the Gemara says further on topic of Rabbi Huda going to the Beis Medrash. Whenever Rabbi Huda went, he would take a jug with him, and he would sit on it, and he would say, "The work is good for the one who performs the work. By me bringing the jug, I have what to sit on." And Shimon used to do a similar thing. He would take a basket that he would sit on, and he also said it's good to do at work because then you have what that you can actually sit on. Now the Gemara discusses how poor Rabbi Huda was. The Gemara says Rabbi Huda's wife went out and she found a bundle of wool, and she was able to make a cloak out of it. It was a good cloak relative to what they had, but it was the only one that they had, so they took turns wearing it. Whenever she went to the market to shop, she wore it, and whenever he went to the yeshiva or to shul, he wore it. Now, when he would put it on, he would say the bracha, Baruch She'otani mi'ilzeh, that Hashem, that you wrapped me in this cloak, similar to our Malbish Arumim. Now, once happened that Rav Shimon Gamliel made a fast day, and all the Talmidei Chacham were expected to come. Rabbi Huda did not come, and he was missed because he could do nisim. And they said the reason that he didn't come is because he doesn't have what to wear. Either it was his wife's turn to wear it, or wasn't respectful enough to wear it to the Beis Medrash. So Rabbi Gamliel said, "I'm going to give him a clothing." He sent him clothing with a messenger, and he said to the messenger, "I don't want it." And he showed him that I could just lift up the mat and I'll have gold coins under the mat if I wanted to be nana from this world. I would have where to get it from, but I don't want to, and therefore I'm not accepting not the gift of the gold coins and not this gift of this cloak from Rabban